This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is... Hello, everybody, and welcome to Daily with Doc. My name is Becca Dukes, and on this program, we are providing empowering information that allows you as an individual to be even more in control of your own health journey. So this program is being sponsored by DailywithDoc.com. On our website, you will find replays of previous presentations that we have had here. You will also find a good foods, bad foods list, which I have a lot of people say, what should I eat? What should I not eat? I keep hearing different things. Well, we have that good foods, bad foods list on our website at DailywithDoc.com. You'll also find a store that has information about products and products that we truly believe in as being solutions to the over 600 different poor health conditions that are directly linked to nutritional deficiencies, including our topic of today. So if you were invited by somebody specific, make sure that you get back with them. They took the time and cared enough about you to share this information. So take the time and care enough about them to say thank you. Thank you for sharing this show with us. And don't forget to subscribe to our channels. So no matter where you're at, if you want to just take a look either for critical health news or Daily with Doc, you will find us. Subscribe on your favorite platform, as we are everywhere. And if we're not where you usually go, let us know where that is, and we'll look into being on that platform as well. But subscribe, give us some likes, and most importantly, as you're listening, think about individuals who this information could be beneficial to as well, and share it with them. That's what this program is all about, is being able to make information available that truly does help people meet their health goals. So today we have with us on Daily with Doc, it's Pharmacist Fridays. And with Pharmacist Fridays, we have Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, and we're going to be talking about something that I myself really struggled with. And that had to do with my hair falling out and little red vessels, red spots all over. And I was told that it wasn't just sunburn. Some of it, yeah, maybe. But I learned that that wasn't always the case. And now I'm able to go out and look as white as a ghost, because that's my natural color. But everybody help me welcome to the screen the one and only, the pharmacist who I just absolutely adore, because yes, he's trained in pharmacy, but he also, through pharmacy, learned about nutrition, and he went deeper into the importance of nutrition and how it affects our health. and he's not afraid to share it. That's what I love most about Pharmacist Ben Fuchs. So, Pharmacist Ben, you have been in the industry for decades with nutrition, and go ahead and unmute yourself if you would. You were trained in pharmacy. You also went into the cosmetic end of formulating things like Carmex, which it's been around for decades, and you were part of that. And you decided to go even further into it, start formulating yourself, compounding, I think is what they call it, to help people and recommending nutrition rather than just the chemicals that suppress symptoms. Why did you do that?
Well, that's a great question. Everybody always asks me, "What? You're a pharmacist. What the heck are you doing talking about nutrition?" And I think that's a really silly question, because what is pharmacy but the study of how molecules from the outside interact with the inside of the body, outside of the body, interact with the biology or the biochemistry of inside the body to create changes. That's what pharmacy is, right? When you come right down to it. The study of how various substances can be taken internally to create some kind of change. Well, isn't that exactly what nutrition is? Isn't that exactly what food is? It's stuff that comes from the outside that comes into the inside and creates a change in the body. And so to me, it's really a no-brainer, because as it turns out, while drug companies spend billions of dollars every year trying to find molecules that they can sell for profit, patent and sell for profit, that will interact with the inside of the body to create changes, but will not have toxicity, or will have a low amount of toxicity. This is what the study of medicinal chemistry and pharmaceutical chemistry is about. It's about finding molecules that will create specific changes without having a lot of toxicity, because there's no way you can have an exogenous foreign molecule that doesn't have any toxicity. So they're satisfied with creating molecules that have effects with little toxicity. God beat them to it. Nature beat them to it. The divine force beat them to it, because that's exactly what nutrition is. Nutrition is God's medicine. It's divine medicine. It's not only medicine that will help adjust and help modulate and control and change biochemical issues that are problematic, but it's biochemicals, it's molecules that the body needs to function. It's not just going to modify symptoms, but it will nourish and it will sustain and it will feed and it will permit the body to do what it's supposed to do. So it's just really a no-brainer, and I can't understand why all pharmacists aren't nutritional pharmacists, because the first rule of medicine is, as every doctor will tell you, do no harm. Well, anytime a doctor prescribes a prescription drug, he's in violation of that, the most important part of the Hippocratic Oath, which is do no harm. So to me, it's just makes perfect sense, if we're interested in creating changes in the body, healthy changes in the body, and allowing the body to function optimally without creating harm, to be a nutritional pharmacist, and that's what I am. I use nutritional supplementation as well as dietary strategies and other lifestyle strategies to control symptoms and to keep the body healthy. And here's the point. This is a first principle. First principle is an axiomatic. It's something that you can't prove, but you just proceed forward from when you have a theory. And a first principle of health is nutrition first. Always use nutrients first. And this all has to do with a concept that really we don't talk about a lot, but we should be, and that's self-care. Nutrition and eating right is about self-care. You know, if you have a garden, you've got to aerate it, you've got to seed it, you've got to fertilize it, you've got to water it. Otherwise, you're not going to have a garden. You're going to have a bunch of weeds. Well, the body is the same way. Taking care of the body, or self-care in the body, is like taking care of a garden. And so almost all the things we talk about here on this program, while we focus on the importance of nutrition, really fall under the aegis, or the umbrella of taking care of yourself. And by the way, self-care is not just food, and it's not just nutrition. It's also self-compassion, self-love. It's also exercise. It's also learning and growing and evolving. It's also spirituality. It's all the multi-dimensions of health. And so while we want to take, we talk a lot about nutritional supplements. We're going to talk today about a couple of health challenges, and we talk about nutritional supplementation for blood sugar control and for autoimmunity and for longevity, et cetera. What we really want to be doing is talking about nutrition, nutritional supplementation, and food as an element of loving yourself, of taking care of yourself, of honoring yourself. And that's what we want to really be focusing on. Now, I understand that there's people have health challenges and we want help. We want to be helped with our specific health challenges, but we don't want to forget that taking care of ourselves via nutrition and diet is part of loving yourself and caring for yourself, just like you care for a garden, just like you care for your home, just like you care for a car, just like you care for a child. In fact, in many ways, our body is like our child. And when, we all think that certain foods are delicious, but at the end of the day, if our body doesn't want that kind of food, while we may have satisfied our need for deliciousness and activated our taste buds in a positive way, we've punished our body. And at the end of the day, the end result of punishing our body is disease, is shortened longevity. And as we're going to talk about today, it is the appearance or sacrifices or problems at the level of our cosmetic appearance. Now, you guys know I'm in the skincare business. I'm in the skincare business for many years. And skincare business is a classic example of how we want to take care of the way we appear, but we don't want to necessarily take care of the causes of the way we appear. And that's why we have such a huge skincare product industry. It's because everybody wants to rub stuff on their skin, but they don't want to change the way they eat, or they don't want to change the way they supplement or add in supplements. Well, the things we're going to talk about today, alopecia, which is baldness, fancy way of saying baldness, and spider veins or broken capillaries, or technically what they're called telangiectasia on the skin. Now, Rebecca, you mentioned something about red spots on the skin. I assume you were talking about broken capillaries, but red spots are a little bit different. So if you want to talk about red spots, we can add that into the equation. But for now, I want to just talk about this idea of broken capillaries, spider veins, or what are called telangiectasia. Now, I'm going to tell you some nutritional supplements that you can use for all of these things. But before I do that, I want to talk about this general idea that the body breaks down generically at three main points, which we call the triangle of disease: the digestive system, the blood sugar system, and the thyroid adrenal, or the adrenal thyroid axis, or the adrenal thyroid complex, the link between the adrenal glands and the thyroid glands. This is all disease. And I've often said this, and I'll say this again: smart people suffer from one specific health issue that really affects how they take care of their bodies, and that's overthinkitis. I know I say it all the time. I don't mean to be cute. I don't mean to be funny. It was funny the first time. It's not funny anymore, but it's important because we overthink. Now, alopecia usually comes from A, autoimmune problems, B, thyroid and estrogen problems, which is this third point on the triangle of disease, and we'll talk about that here in a second. C, nutritional deficiencies, and D, and most importantly, deterioration of the most important part of the body, which is the connective tissue. Alopecia involves connective tissue diseases, and people who have involves connective tissue deterioration, and people who have connective tissue diseases like lupus or like scleroderma oftentimes have alopecia as well. And this makes perfect sense. I'll tell you why in a second. Likewise, telangiectasia or spider veins or broken capillaries. These are all signs of deterioration of the connective tissue. The body doesn't really care about your hair or our hair or its hair. The body doesn't really care about the skin either. The body cares about the heart. It cares about the liver. It cares about the spleen and the intestine. You can live without hair. You can live with wrinkles and telangiectasia and lousy skin, but you can't live without a functional heart or liver or intestine. So the body, under conditions of deficiency, will reroute nutrients, will shunt nutrients to the center of the body. And the top of the body, the exterior part of the body, will become deficient. The body, the hair doesn't matter. Under conditions of deficiency, everything's going to be routed to the inside. So it makes perfect sense that under conditions of general bodily deterioration, the exterior of the body is going to break down. It's going to break down first. And that's a good thing. You don't want your heart to break down before your hair or before your hair follicles. So this is a good thing. This is a functional thing. But we can, obviously, we want to have good hair and we want to have good skin, and we can change this situation. But it involves understanding how the body deteriorates. The body deteriorates generically. We all deteriorate the same way. How that deterioration manifests is different depending on specific specific lifestyle issues that we all have that are individual to us. Biochemical individuality plays a role as well. But from a generic standpoint, from a deterioration standpoint, the body breaks down at the level of the digestive system first, the blood sugar system second, and then thirdly, the third point in the triangle of disease, which we haven't really talked about a lot because it raises some complexity, but in terms of hair loss, alopecia, and in terms of spider veins and telangiectasia, we really have to talk about this third point in the triangle of disease, which is the adrenal thyroid complex or adrenal thyroid axis, because both the adrenal glands and the thyroid play a specific role when it comes to hair loss as well as deterioration of the connective tissue. So first things first, the digestive system. If you're dealing with hair loss, there's several reasons, as we said. Number one, autoimmunity is involved in hair loss. Well, as we've said so many times on this program, and as I've said so many times in my presentations, if you have an autoimmune problem, you have by definition an intestinal or leaky gut issue. That's how autoimmunity develops, through a leaky gut, period. End of story. Now, this is really important because if you go to the doctor, they're going to tell you we don't know, or they're going to tell you your mother had it, and so you have it. It's in your genetics. And they'll give you some kind of immune suppressant, whether it's a steroid or a fancy biologic drug, which is like a high-tech steroid, to suppress the immune system. I'm telling you right now, if you understand that leaky gut is how the immune system becomes triggered to lead to autoimmunity, you know more than most medical professionals. But that means that if you're dealing with an autoimmune issue, whether it's multiple sclerosis, or whether it's lupus, or whether it's scleroderma, or whether it's Sjogren's syndrome, or whether it's any of 80 to 100 different autoimmune problems, you have to take care of the leaky gut issue, which involves SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, as well as problems with what's called the dysbiosis and constipation and low stomach acid, etc. So dealing with a leaky gut is first and foremost the number one strategy for longevity, for feeling good, and for looking good. And that means whether you're dealing with a health challenge that's specific, or whether you're just dealing with, or you just want to increase your longevity. How do you deal with a leaky gut? I-26. When I say leaky gut, we're talking here in terms of both autoimmunity and telangiectasia. I-26, must have. I-26 is hyperimmune egg. It's eggs that come from chickens that have been injected with a specific antigen or bad guy, if you will, or an enemy. The chickens then, in response to that enemy, produce antibodies to fight that enemy. Those antibodies come out in the egg. The egg powder is then used as a supplement, which then contains the antibodies which kill excess bacteria in the gut. You can also use essential oils to kill excess bacteria in the gut. Essential oil peppermint, the longevity essential oils can be used in water, where you put a few drops of peppermint or oregano in water. I know, what's the doctor's name that we just signed up, the iridology doctor,
Dr. Cara Ringland.
Dr. Ringland, she talks a lot about essential oils. She's right on. You can use oil of oregano, you can use tea tree oil, you can use peppermint oil, you can use sage oil. And longevity does have some wonderful essential oils that can be used for SIBO. You can also use collagen peptides. Collagen peptides help strengthen the intestinal lining. The Fucoid Z helps support the mucosal lining at the level of the intestine. Of course, the nightly essence, the good bacteria, are always a must-have for any kind of, well, for any health challenge or just for overall good health. The ultimate enzymes are wonderful for helping folks deal with autoimmune diseases on several levels. Apple cider vinegar can also help. The Daily Digest, all the wonderful digestive support supplements are important. Now you say, well, I just want to take care of my hair. This is my major point here. You can't take care of your hair specifically. You've got to take care of the context, the environment in the body that's leading to the hair loss. Mostly, or usually, or many times at least, it's autoimmune, and that's where taking care of the digestive system becomes very important. The second point on the triangle disease is also critical to understand. Rebecca and Doc just wrote a book called Metabolic Syndrome. I call metabolic syndrome everything syndrome because it affects everything. Metabolic syndrome, there you go. Metabolic syndrome is the term we give for a bunch of different health challenges that are associated to one cause. Metabolic syndrome, the syndrome part of metabolic syndrome means osteoporosis. It means autoimmunity. It means wrinkles and fine lines. It means heart disease. It means obesity. And it most importantly, this is so important what I'm going to say now, metabolic syndrome means hormonal dysfunction, specifically of the steroid hormones. Steroid hormones are your fertility hormones. They're your youth hormones. They're your fun in life hormones. They call them your sex hormones, but they're really your growth hormones, your repair hormones, your stress management hormones. And there is an intimate connection between dysglycemia, I'll tell you what that means here in a second, dysglycemia and steroid hormone dysfunction. Dys means dysfunctional, messed up. Glyce means sugar. Emia means in the blood. Dysglycemia means messed up blood sugar. Dysglycemia, messed up blood sugar. Metabolic syndrome is one of the things that happens when you have dysglycemia. So dysglycemia leads to metabolic syndrome, leads to steroid hormone dysfunction. Why is this important? Because one of the biggest complaints we have as we get older is for men, my male hormone's not working so well. I'm not as manly. I'm not performing sexually as well. I don't have the same drive and the same ambition and the same muscle development and the same repair. These are all testosterone issues, and men, as they get older, are understandably focused and obsessed on how do I get my testosterone back? Insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome are the main causes of male hormone or testosterone or androgen dysfunction. Likewise with estrogen dysfunction. As women get older, they want to be more feminine. They're focusing on their estrogen. They're taking estrogen replacement therapy or hormone replacement therapy. They want their hair to look nice. They want their skin to look nice. They want to be more sexual. All of these have to do with the female hormones, and the number one cause of female hormone dysfunction, like the number one cause of male hormone dysfunction, is dysglycemia and metabolic syndrome. To compound things, going back to the first point on the triangle of disease, if you're not absorbing your fats, specifically your ultimate EFAs, as well as your fatty vitamins, you're not going to be able to make estrogen effectively. And this happens when we don't have a gallbladder or our bile is sticky and sludgy, which we've talked about at length, how important bile is for the absorption of fats, which in turn are important for the steroid hormones. Once you start to have steroid hormone dysfunction, it's a short jump to hypothyroidism. And again, hypothyroidism is linked to connective tissue diseases. It's linked to telangiectasia and spider veins, and it's linked to hair loss. So you've got problems at the level of autoimmunity. You've got problems at the level of dysglycemia. You've got problems at the level of the thyroid. What do you got? That's the triangle of disease. Again, all chronic health challenges, cosmetic or metabolic or otherwise, should be backtracked to the triangle of disease. Don't overthink. If you're trying to look for a pill that you could take to grow your hair, it ain't going to happen if you have issues at the level of the digestive system, issues at the level of the blood sugar system, and issues at the level of the thyroid adrenal complex. You're not going to be able to take a pill to take, or a supplement or a nutrient to take care of your hair or to take care of your spider veins or to address spider veins if you have problems at the level of the triangle of disease. Now, I am going to tell you about some supplements that can be helpful, some nutrients that can be helpful for folks who are dealing with alopecia. But if you have problems at the level of the triangle, those need to be addressed. And listen, we all want to have beautiful hair and we all want to have beautiful skin, but not at the expense of having cancer, or not at the expense of having heart disease, or not at the expense of having an autoimmune problem. If you don't address the autoimmune problem or the problems that are metabolic inside the body, you can't address the hair or the skin. So in terms of supplementation specifically for the hair, I can tell you some of those, but I really want to make clear that unless you take care of the triangle, these aren't going to be, they're not going to be as helpful as they could be. One of the most important and underappreciated nutrients when it comes to hair loss, as well as connective tissue disease in general, is vitamin D. Vitamin D supplementation has been shown to help with hair loss, and vitamin D deficiency has been shown to cause hair loss. Vitamin D deficiency is much more common than anybody realizes because the most important source of vitamin D is the sun, and everybody's terrified of the sun these days. Probably people on this call are not as terrified as most people of the sun, but if you go on social media and Reddit and you read about the sun, people will tell you to stay out of the sun. Even dermatologists will tell you to stay out of the sun. I did a TikTok that turned out to be one of the most, it was actually the most popular skincare TikTok in the world for about 2 days. And it went viral. It had over got 1 million views. And you know why it got so popular? Because I had the nerve to say, don't wear a sunscreen. Oh my God. holy cow, there were dermatologists who got on there to cut me down and say how stupid I was and how you need to wear a sunscreen because the sun causes cancer, the sun ages you, blah, 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 blah. Well, I didn't really say don't wear a sunscreen. I said don't wear a chemical sunscreen. Nonetheless, it got a lot of attention because everybody's terrified of the sun. Well, it turns out that the vitamin D that you get from the sun is superior to any other kind of vitamin D. So make sure you're getting some sun. Head to toe, by the way, in your bikini or your bathing suit or less. Don't freak out your neighbors, but still, head to toe. Get as much sunlight on your body as you can for 15 minutes a day. And the best kind of sun is going to be in the middle of the day from between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., which is the strongest sun in the summertime. I don't want to digress too much on the sun. We could do that on the importance of the sun and how to take the best advantage of the sun. But we can do that on another talk. But for now, just understand that sunshine, vitamin D derived from sunshine is the best form of vitamin D. There is supplemental vitamin D that you can take, and you can use that if you live in a place where there's not a lot of sunshine. You can also get a sun lamp too, by the way. They're relatively inexpensive on Amazon, but you can also use vitamin D supplements, and there's foods that contain vitamin D as well. Fortified milk and fortified cereals that have vitamin D in them don't have the right kind of vitamin D, but organ meats, liver especially is a good source of vitamin D. Chicken skin is a good source of vitamin D. You're not going to find vitamin D, if you're vegan, you're not going to find vitamin D in non-animal foods, although mushrooms have a little bit. But other than that, you're not going to find vitamin D in non-animal foods. Vitamin D is also found in dairy. There's one other thing I was going to tell you. There's vitamin D found in dairy and fish, organ meats. Something I'm missing is sticking in my head here, but food-based vitamin D is not the best source of vitamin D. Sun vitamin D is always going to be the best source of vitamin D. If you have a gallbladder problem or liver problem or intestinal problem, that's going to compromise fat absorption. This is another reason why sunshine vitamin D is better, because it goes right into your blood. If you do have any kind of intestinal issue, gluten intolerance and irritable bowel, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, celiac disease, if you had a gallbladder missing, etc., whenever you take your vitamin D supplements, Beyond Tangy Tangerine or your Ultimate Multi, whatever it is, make sure you're using it with food or with your Ultimate enzymes. Another important nutrient for hair loss is vitamin C. Vitamin C is one of my favorite things about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It's a great source of vitamin C. You can also use your CFX to get vitamin C. Vitamin C deficiency is associated with hair loss. There's not a lot of studies that talk about vitamin C helping with the hair, but vitamin C deficiency is associated with hair loss, largely because vitamin C deficiency is associated with connective tissue deterioration. In fact, scurvy, which is vitamin C deficiency disease, is connective tissue deterioration disease. Vitamin E may be helpful. Iron is also helpful. Iron deficiencies are associated with hair loss. One of my favorite supplements for the male hormone system, also for the blood sugar system, also for hair loss, is your Zinc FX. In fact, while the Zinc FX is considered to be kind of an ancillary supplement, I don't consider it to be an ancillary supplement. I consider it to be a must-have supplement, and it should be part of, for anybody who wants to have a well-rounded nutritional supplement program, in addition to the Healthy Start Pack, should throw in the Zinc FX, as well as the Ultimate Selenium, which is also associated with hair loss. The Ultimate Selenium, adding the Ultimate Selenium to your supplement program can also help you with cardiovascular health. It can also help you with the thyroid. And given the relationship between hypothyroidism or poorly functioning thyroid and hair loss, that's another mechanism for the Ultimate Selenium helping with hair loss. Interestingly, too much selenium, which is, you have to take a lot, maybe 2,000 micrograms or so, which would be 20 capsules. That can actually cause hair loss itself. So you don't want to take too much, but 600, 800 micrograms of selenium, even 1,000 micrograms of selenium, which would be 10 capsules, you should be okay with that. I personally take 600 micrograms of the Ultimate Selenium every day. It's 6 capsules. The B complex are very important for all energy, anything that requires energy. And of course, hair growth requires energy, as well as skin growth. The cells in the follicles, whether they're on your scalp growing hair, the cells in the follicles on the skin, are both rapidly dividing cells, which means they're burning through energy. They're dependent on energy. Your B vitamins are your energy vitamins. And so all the B complex, and in addition to vitamin C, one of the really cool things about Beyond Tangy Tangerine is it's a great source of the B complex. The water-soluble vitamins, as distinct from the fat-soluble vitamins, that is the B complex and vitamin C, give you energy. And this is one of the reasons why when people start using Beyond Tangy Tangerine, one of the first things they report is they have more energy. That's because the Beyond Tangy Tangerine is loaded, like with megadose loaded, vitamin C and the B complex and electrolytes, all of which are important for energy in the body, electrical energy in the body. So Beyond Tangy Tangerine will get you your B complex, it'll get you your vitamin C, and it'll get you electrolytes, all of which will help with skin problems as well as with hair problems. So focusing on the triangle disease means working on the digestive system, working on the blood sugar system, which of course means your sweeties. Your ultimate selenium, by the way, can also be helpful for blood sugar control, and your ultimate niacin. Don't underestimate the importance of the ultimate niacin, not only for energy, I'll talk about that here in a sec, but also for blood sugar control. The ultimate niacin is the one vitamin that your body will actually make under deficiency conditions, but by supplementing with the ultimate niacin, you can allow your body to save its resources for making brain chemicals rather than making niacin. Under conditions of deficiency, instead of making brain chemicals, your body will make niacin. By using your ultimate niacin, your body will then be able to conserve its resources for keeping your brain happy, and this is one of the reasons why the ultimate niacin has mood and brain health benefits. In fact, the ultimate niacin was actually used by Dr. Abraham Hoffer to treat schizophrenia, and there's a wonderful book that he wrote about that called Orthomolecular Psychiatry. Dr. Abraham Hoffer was considered to be the medical doctor that's most associated with orthomolecular medicine. Ortho means good, molecule means molecule. Orthomolecular medicine is the medicine of good molecules, which is the medicine of nutrition. So the ultimate niacin can also help you with blood sugar. The ultimate niacin goes to make a very important molecule that has become kind of popular in the last few years. And I get questions about this molecule, and possibly if you're a distributor, you'll get questions about this molecule as well. It's called NAD, or some people say NADH. NAD and NADH have become so popular that there's actually a company that's on Facebook all the time talking about their NAD and NADH supplements. The problem with NAD and NADH supplements is they're super duper expensive. The second problem with NAD and NADH supplements, and both NAD and NADH are critically important for energy production. The second most important thing about them is that they're forms of niacin. So your ultimate niacin will actually go to make NAD and NADH, and both of those will help with cellular energy, and both of those will, by virtue of their effects on, or the beneficial effects on cellular energy, will help you with hair loss as well as with telangiectasia or spider veins. And then the third element, after insulin resistance and dysglycemia, metabolic syndrome, and digestive health issues, the third element is going to be your steroid hormones. Now, I said that you're not going to be able to work on your steroid hormones unless you work on your insulin resistance. This is where overthinkitis comes in. So simply by taking care of your insulin resistance, which basically is supplements and lifestyle, supplements and diet, as well as exercise. Exercise also has a blood sugar lowering and an insulin stabilizing effect. You can do certain things for estrogen. One of the most important benefits of the ultimate EFAs, which I absolutely love, and I studied essential fatty acids at length in pharmacy school, and we studied essential fatty acids. We studied essential fatty acids as important molecules for hormone synthesis. Essential fatty acids are involved in the production of steroid hormones, and they play an especially important role when it comes to estrogen. In fact, your ultimate EFAs have estrogen benefits. They can act like estrogen. And if you're on hormone replacement therapy, you may want to consider using your ultimate EFAs either with or instead of hormone replacement therapy. Hormone replacement therapy can be very toxic. Your ultimate EFAs, like all nutritional supplements, give you benefits without toxicity. So for women who are on hormone replacement therapy, consider using your ultimate EFAs to either lower your dose or completely wean yourself off of hormone replacement therapy, which can be problematic. Ultimate EFAs are also wonderful for the skin. Your ultimate EFAs are nature's natural moisturizers. Nobody should ever have dry skin. Yet, if you ask people about moisturizers, most people will tell you they've got moisturizers in their car and in their office and in their purse and in their locker and two in their medicine cabinet and a couple in their kitchen. But everybody has dry skin. When I do my talks and I ask people to raise their hand if they have dry skin, almost everybody has dry skin. If I ask you right now, how many people have dry skin? Almost all of you will say that you have dry skin. And that's despite the fact that in this country we sell billions, maybe $12 to $14 billion a year in moisturizing products, and everybody has dry skin. Well, the reason we have dry skin is not because we don't have enough moisturizers. It's because we're deficient in our fatty nutrients, particularly your ultimate EFAs. So you can treat your dry skin, or you can regard your dry skin as a sign of ultimate EFA deficiency. Start supplementing with your ultimate EFAs, keeping in mind that you got to make sure that you're absorbing your ultimate EFAs through the intestine, which of course requires a healthy gallbladder and bile and intestine. And that's why working on digestive health is so darn important. Your ultimate EFAs are also important as epigenetic factors for the building of protein and connective tissue. Now, epigenetics, I know most of you guys probably know about epigenetics. Doc's written a lot of great books, but my favorite book is called Epigenetics. Doc is known as one of the fathers of epigenetics. Epigenetics is the science of how genes turn on. There are multiple factors that are involved in whether a gene turns on or off. Genetics, most of our genes turn on and off like Christmas tree lights, depending on our environment. There's the book. Thank you. And there's young Dr. Wallach. Check out that handsome guy working with the little monkey there. That's how when I met Doc, that's what he looked like. Is Doc on the call?
I don't see that he's on with us today. Usually he is, though.
Yeah, that's my favorite book that on the Doc's written. Epigenetics, by the way, is not just about epigenetics. It's a whole walk through the history of medicine, starting with caveman days. Super cool books. All Doc's books are really cool and very interesting, but that's my favorite book. Epigenetics is the science of how genes turn on and off. I was just reading about a lady who had her breast removed. I forgot who it was. It was a celebrity. And I was just reading about it because she had the BRCA gene, the gene that's associated with cancer. The stupidity of cutting off your organs or cutting out your organs because you have a genetic predisposition, for whatever reason they call it a genetic predisposition to a certain disease, is a complete misunderstanding of how genes work. Genes turn on and off depending on the environment that the body and the cells are in. So the trick to taking care of a genetic issue is to work with the epigenetics. That is the factors that turn the genes on and off. And by the way, thoughts are epigenetic. Emotions are epigenetic. So our genes turn on and off with our thoughts. Our genes turn on and off with our emotions and with our feelings, and our genes turn on and off with our food and with our nutritional supplementation. For better or worse, French fries have a negative effect on the genetics. Ice cream have a negative effect on the genetics. Foods that are so-called bad foods are bad, partially at least, because of their negative effect on our genetics. On the other side of the equation, there are nutrients that have positive epigenetic benefits for turning on the growth, specifically in our case, for what we're talking about today, of connective tissue, and essential fatty acids are just that. They are epigenetic factors for the building or for turning on genes that are associated with the building of connective tissue. Real quick on the connective tissue. When we talk about connective tissue, we talk about connecting, obviously. It's called connective tissue. So the connective tissue is what builds everything. It's what connects all our parts together. Our body is, all the organs in our body become one homogeneous whole, or one unified whole, by virtue of the connective tissue. I've said this before, and it's kind of interesting. The body, the organs in the body, all the internal organs in the body fit together like fruit in a Jell-O mold. So your heart is embedded in the body, specifically in the connective tissue of the body, like pineapple in a Jell-O mold. Your intestine is embedded in the connective tissue in the body, like cantaloupe in a Jell-O mold or fruit mold. All the organs of the body, you name it, the spleen, the liver, the intestine, the lungs, the heart, all of the vasculature, they're all embedded like fruit in a Jell-O mold. The connective tissue is the matrix within which all the organs sit. But the connective tissue does more than connect. It is the connective tissue that feeds all of the cells. It is the connective tissue that oxygenates all of the cells. It is the connective tissue that detoxifies all of the cells. The other name for the connective tissue is the matrix. It's called the connective tissue matrix. Matrix is Latin for womb. So the cells of the body sit, and the organs of the body sit in the connective tissue like a fetus in the womb. The womb is like a type of connective tissue, and the connective tissue is like a type of womb. And the cells are a type of baby, and the organs are a type of baby, and the connective tissue has the same function in relationship to the organs and the cells that a womb has to a fetus, a developing fetus. So the connective tissue is responsible for the health of all of the organs and all of the cells. Let me say that again. That's so important. We think of the connective tissue, we think of the structure, and we think of holding everything in place, connecting. But the connective tissue does more than hold everything in place and provide connection. The connective tissue is what feeds and what oxygenates and what detoxifies all of the cells. And this is why connective tissue disease is so debilitating. One of the most important connective tissue diseases is not even called a disease, but in many ways it has the same hallmark or cardinal signs as a disease. And this is a connective tissue issue called aging. Accelerated aging is accelerated deterioration of the connective tissue. So building the connective tissue is not only important for dealing with health challenges, it's also important as an anti-aging strategy. And given the role of connective tissue to feeding, to detoxifying, and to oxygenating all the cells and all the organs of the body, it should come as no surprise that building the connective tissue is also going to be important for telangiectasia, spider veins, broken capillaries, as well as for hair loss. And as I said earlier, connective tissue diseases are linked to both telangiectasia and to hair loss. So building the connective tissue becomes important, not just for the cosmetic symptoms of alopecia and telangiectasia, but just for keeping all of your organs healthy and just for slowing down the aging process. In fact, almost all of the things we hate about aging are related to connective tissue deterioration. The hunched over appearance, the scoliosis, the osteoporosis, the blood vessel diseases, and the cardiovascular diseases, and the wrinkles, and the fine lines, and the hernias, and the prolapses, and the ruptures, all are associated with deterioration of the connective tissue. If you want to do one thing to support, or to slow down, I should say, the aging process, if you want to do one thing to reverse the symptoms associated with aging or with accelerated aging, if you want to do one thing to improve your appearance, whether it's your skin appearance or the appearance on your hair, if you want to do one thing, it's work on the connective tissue. Now, of course, you can't work on the connective tissue until you work on the triangle, because if you're not digesting or you're not absorbing your nutrients, you're going to have connective tissue problems. If toxicity is getting into the bloodstream through a leaky gut, you're going to have connective tissue problems. If you're dealing with dysglycemia or insulin resistance or metabolic syndrome, you're going to have connective tissue issues. And if you've got adrenal hormone problems and hypothyroidism, the third point in the triangle disease, again, you're going to have connective tissue issues. You got to work on the triangle. Don't be worried about, don't be dealing with, or don't be suffering from overthinkitis. Work on the triangle first. Digestive, blood sugar, and then the adrenal thyroid axis. But there's certain things you could do once you've worked on the triangle you can focus on for building connective tissue. I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Before Doc was the mineral doc, he was the connective tissue doc. Because and this is really what caught my attention when I first heard Dead Doctors Don't Lie, was his understanding of how important connective tissue building is. It is the quintessential strategy for anti-aging, connective tissue building. How do you build connective tissue? Well, first and foremost, get yourself on the healthy bone. Well, first and foremost, the triangle. But then after the triangle, get on the healthy bone and joint pack. Yes, I know. When we talk about the healthy bone and joint pack, we talk about osteoporosis and arthritis mostly. But we want everybody to understand, everybody in this call and all of our customers and our clients and everybody that we approach, that connective tissue building involves much more that, or helps with much more than joint disease and osteoporosis, by virtue of the fact that it's the connective tissue that is the matrix or the womb that feeds everything else. So, and detoxifies and oxygenates everything else. So building the connective tissue will help with everything, including accelerated aging. And by the way, one of the reasons why cholesterol and plaques build up inside blood vessels is because of connective tissue deterioration. The blood vessels are connective tissue. In fact, the blood itself is liquid connective tissue. So when the blood vessels become weak and develop little holes, little cuts, little wounds, the body will send calcium and plaques and cholesterol to those wounds to patch them up. And this will result in stenosis or sclerosis, fibrosis, hardening of the arteries. or a narrowing of the arteries, and your doctor will say, oh, we got to do bypass surgery. Not understanding that the plaques, which are problematic, of course, and the cholesterol and the calcium are Band-Aids. So the real strategy for preventing plaques is to keep the blood vessels strong, the blood vessels being connective tissue. Get yourself on the healthy bone and joint pack. And when you're taking the healthy bone and joint pack, always take your glucogel caps with your Beyond Tangy Tangerine, because the Beyond Tangy Tangerine is required for building the connective tissue. By the way, using connective tissue building strategies or healthy bone and joint pack are one of the best things you can do for wrinkles. The healthy bone and joint pack can be remarketed as the healthy skin, healthy aging skin pack. And this is another very important point that we want to share with our customers and with distributors, is that you get multifunctionality with all of the nutritional supplements that will not only help you with the area that you're working on, but will help you with the entire body and with cosmetics, with the appearance of the skin and the appearance of the hair. The healthy bone and joint pack is help you with prevent wrinkles and fine lines and thinning of the skin, and will help you grow hair as well, simply by the fact that it's helping support connective tissue building, meaning more nourishment, more oxygenation, more detoxification of all the cells. So you've got numerous strategies for dealing with telangiectasia and dealing with alopecia, but they don't involve directly dealing with telangiectasia and directly dealing with alopecia, which is a good thing, because it means that while you're taking your healthy bone and joint pack, while you're taking your healthy digestion pack, while you're taking your ultimate niacin, while you're taking your healthy blood sugar supplements, while you're taking all of these other supplements, not only are you going to be dealing with or improving the health challenges that you're looking for, the cosmetic health challenges, but you're going to be helping build the entire body, helping reverse chronic disease or the risks of chronic disease of the entire body, and improving longevity as well. Boil it down, reduce it down to the triangle of disease: digestion, blood sugar system, the adrenal thyroid complex. Use your basic nutrients, the healthy start pack, the healthy bone and joint pack, the healthy blood sugar pack. Throw in ancillary nutrients as you need, perhaps the ultimate selenium or the ultimate niacin, as we talked about. Make sure you're taking generous amounts of your ultimate EFAs. Make sure you're using your ultimate EFAs with food so that your digestive juices can be secreted as you're taking your essential fatty acids and your ultimate EFAs. If you have a gallbladder problem, or you have your gallbladder removed, or you have a liver problem or a bile problem, make sure you're using your ultimate enzymes, and it always helps to acidify the contents of the stomach, or acidify or use apple cider vinegar or some kind of acidifying agent with your ultimate enzymes to activate those enzymes. Treat telangiectasia, treat alopecia, whether it's male pattern baldness or female pattern baldness, as signs of general deterioration involving the three main points on the triangle of disease: digestion, blood sugar, and the adrenal thyroid axis.
Okay, did you guys take notes? You got it crystal clear now? Now you understand the importance of nutrition and supporting our bodies and self-care. There's so much going on. I pulled up a picture from 2018, Pharmacist Ben.
Yes.
Of myself.
Oh.
As 50 pounds. Huh?
Yeah, let me see.
Not of you.
I think you should show that picture.
I do have one.
Where's that picture? Oh,
let me see if I can do it.
It's a great picture.
If I can do it with
Look how beautiful Becca looks. Look at this gorgeous, radiant, beautiful face. And you probably had a gorgeous, radiant, beautiful face before, but you had a lot bigger, gorgeous, radiant, beautiful face before. And that's what's possible. Yeah. You didn't know about nutrition in 2018. You didn't know about it.
I had just been on the nutrition, and I had already lost 50 pounds at this time. And it's not letting me, I don't know why it's not letting me pull this up, but I don't know. But yeah, my hair had no life in it. And my face was bigger. Yeah, so was my belly, all that good stuff. But it's amazing. It's basically nutrition is how I
Absolutely.
lost that first 50 pounds. Adding in and really focusing on my diet and removing those bad foods is how I lost the next 50 pounds. And keeping that nutrition. I think the nutrition is one of the biggest parts. And that's one reason, because you mentioned the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack.
Right.
And with the glucogel. That's one reason I don't have a whole bunch of saggy skin.
Nice.
Not on my arms, not on my neck. So I'm like, yes, I did it right. So yeah, there's so much we can do, people, as individuals, empowered to take control of our own
Yes.
health.
Self-love.
It's self-love.
Self-love. Self-care.
Absolutely. We don't need knives cutting on us. Yeah, that's crazy. But we have some questions,
Sure.
Pharmacist Ben.
Yes, please.
And it's not giving me the option to share that. It has to do with our settings and all of these wonderful individuals that we have experienced over the last couple days. But where did that go? There we go. Okay, so since listening to you last week, oh, we got that one covered. Okay, so what is to take for lymphedema, a fat disease?
Yes.
Says
Lipedema.
it's so hard to lose the fat, and my skin is so stiff and swollen. They do currently take the Tangy Tangerine, Osteo, Selenium, Ocean's Gold, and enzymes. I did not hear EFAs.
I didn't hear EFAs. I didn't hear anything aside for the enzymes. I didn't hear anything about the digestive system. Lipedema, like all health challenges, boil it down to the triangle of disease. Number one, most important, if you want to do one thing for the body, work on the digestive system. And lipedema is oftentimes associated with gallbladder problems and liver problems processing fats at the digestive system level. So all of your digestive support for lipedema. Number two, and lipedema, by the way, did you say lymphedema or lipedema?
Lipedema.
Lipid. Okay, so that's associated with fat metabolism. So all the digestive support supplements, it should be no surprise. Again, don't overthink it. Digestive support. And I'm glad they're on the Ultimate Enzymes because that's very important, but also the Ultimate Nightly Essence, or the Nightly Essence is also important. Also the I-26, because is this person on the call, by the way?
No, I don't believe.
So there's probably an element of SIBO and leaky gut. So working with the I-26 and all your digestive support is important. No surprise, lipedema is also associated with metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance. So work on your healthy blood sugar pack. Number three, no surprise, lipedema and hypothyroidism go hand in hand. Hypothyroidism is associated with the adrenal gland, so working on the adrenal thyroid complex is also very important. Your ultimate EFAs can be helpful in this regard. Calorie restriction is also very important, making sure that you're staying away from, obviously, the bad foods, but especially from sugary foods and from processed fats. In fact, it's pretty hard to overstate how critical and how relevant processed, fried, heated oils and heated fats are with all health issues. In fact, leaky gut, which is the root of pretty much all chronic degenerative disease, can be caused by inflammatory fats. And I know we all love French fries and pizza, and everybody likes their fried fats and cooked fats and all of the ways that we have of processing fats. But it's so unbelievably relevant when it comes to how the body falls apart. And that's not only at the systemic level, at the level of the organs, but it's at the level of the individual cells. All of the cells of the body have to integrate to communicate to each other what's happening. And all of the cells of the body are lined with fat. If we are eating the wrong kinds of fat, that fat will get incorporated into the cells of the body, creating distortions at the level of the membrane. That means none of the cells will get fed correctly. None of the cells will get oxygenated correctly. None of the cells will be able to detoxify themselves effectively. And perhaps most importantly, the relationship between cells and hormones will be affected. A lot of people who are on hormone replacement therapy thinking they need more hormones really need to have better fidelity of hormones. Fidelity is accuracy of the hormones, of the cell's response to the hormones. So a hormone sits on a cell, and when that hormone sits on the cell, a behavior is initiated. But if the membrane is dysfunctional because we're eating a lot of pizza, and we're eating a lot of French fries, and we're eating a lot of processed fats, fried fats, our hormones aren't going to work correctly. So lymphedema should be considered a digestive health issue. It should be considered a blood sugar issue. It should be considered a thyroid issue. And it should be considered an issue of unhealthy fats. So making sure that you're reducing your calories, especially reducing your calories from sugars and processed sugars, and especially from fried and processed fats. And reducing your calories in general is always a great longevity strategy and a great anti-aging strategy, because eating food is the hardest thing the human body has to deal with. And we all abuse our bodies with food because that's just the way our culture is. Even if you're trying to do it right, the foods we get at the grocery store today didn't exist a mere 100 or 150 years ago in bodies that are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years old.
Well, that leads right into Dylan's question and wanting to know if a high-fat diet is bad. Many naturopaths and functional medicine practitioners are recommending against high-fat, especially saturated fat, due to research showing that it leads to leaky gut from the liposaccharides or lipopolysaccharides.
I'm not sure that's a misunderstanding. I'm not sure if it's the doctors or the person who's asking this question. So let's talk about fat real quick. The high fat doesn't tell you anything because it's not about high fat, low fat. It's about good fat, bad fat. So high fat doesn't really mean anything. Is the high fat from eggs or is it from French fries? And I pick on French fries a lot because that's almost like a poster child of a lousy food. And we all love French fries. Potato chips, donuts, pizza, all of these kinds of fried fats. The problem is not high fat, low fat. It's high bad fat, which is what most of us are ingesting. If you go to the grocery store and you see all those bottles of oil, salad dressing and salad oil, you see that come in a clear bottle. Light is the mortal enemy of fat, as is oxygen and as is heat. So right away, if you see your oil in a clear bottle, you know you got a problem. Oil should always be kept in a dark bottle, and you want to be very, very careful about how you process oil, about how you heat oils and how you cook oils. And now, there are something which is this questioner alluded to called LPSs or lipopolysaccharides. Lipopolysaccharides, while the name lipo implies fat, don't come from the diet. Lipopolysaccharides, which are associated with almost all chronic degenerative disease, lipopolysaccharides are bacterial particles from the outside part of a bacteria, and they are associated with diseases by virtue of their entrance into the bloodstream through a leaky gut. This person also alluded to fats and their association with intestinal permeability, and that is also true, but it's not fat. It's processed fat. It's heated fat. It's oxidized fat that's associated with a leaky gut. So you got to be careful about the terms high fat and low fat, because that doesn't really tell you what's happening. It's high bad fat or high good fat. As it turns out, high good fat, which includes your essential fatty acids, obviously, as well as fatty vitamins, are critical for fat absorption. If you don't have enough fat in your diet, you're not going to activate bile. If you don't activate bile, you're not going to be absorbing your fat. So eating fat is important for the absorption of fat and fatty vitamins. So when you say high fat, low fat, that's not really accurate, but high processed fat is incredibly problematic, partially because of its relationship to a leaky gut, as well as the entrance of toxicity into the bloodstream, which, as I say, that's the first point on the triangle of disease. That is where disease begins. And it's actually insulin resistance and dysglycemia is obviously associated with the ingestion of sugar, but there's a very important connection between bile and dysglycemia, a very important connection between SIBO and dysglycemia, a very important relationship between leaky gut and dysglycemia. So the first point is linked to the second point in the triangle of disease, and the second point has independent correlations involving sugar as well as nutritional deficiencies. So yes, you're absolutely correct about the problems associated with high processed fat, and that's why Doc has been saying for years, really, but at an accelerated pace over the last couple of years, don't eat cooked fats. Don't cook your fat. It's a huge problem. It's not the high fat, it's the high processed fat.
Gotcha. Now you had mentioned sunlight, and KP is wanting to know about infrared heat lamps or infrared red lamps.
Infrared saunas or lamps. Infrared saunas are
You
great.
said lamps or red lights?
Yes, red light therapy is, there's this thing about blue light and red light. Perhaps you may have heard about red light and blue light.
Yeah.
And blue light's associated with speeding things up. Your phones, smartphones, and computers and televisions, and a lot of our high-tech electrical equipment are sources of blue light. Blue light revs things up. Red light has a relaxing effect. So red light can actually be used, red light bulbs can actually be used to help you sleep, to help you fall asleep or help you relax. Blue light, on the other hand, has a stimulating effect, and there are people who believe that hyperstimulation or hypermetabolic issues are associated with excessive exposure to smartphones. And that's one of the reasons why I tell you not to use smartphones or watch TV or get on your computer when you're trying to fall asleep or in the middle of the night if you wake up in the middle of the night. By the way, speaking of waking up in the middle of the night, I've been using those melatonin gummies. Oh my God, holy cow. If anybody has insomnia out there, you need those melatonin gummies are unbelievable. And it's not just the melatonin, it's the entire formulation. It's becoming one of my favorite longevity products. I've been using them since we had that talk, that leadership conference in Colorado about a month ago, and they are amazing. So so red light has a relaxing effect. You can buy red light bulbs on Amazon and just put them in your lamp or in your light at home or in your bedroom, and you can almost feel the relaxing effect as you're looking at the red light. It's really calming. And blue light, on the other hand, is very stimulating. And on the other hand, in the daytime, you want more blue light and less red light. So I'm not sure what that person asked about red light, but red light can be very relaxing. As far as infrared saunas go, they're awesome. There's two different varieties. There's near infrared saunas and far infrared saunas. They're both great. Dr. Mitchell actually has a little at-home version. I think she paid a few $100s for it. And it's a small sauna that you can actually sit in. And I think it's a collapsible sauna. I have to ask her more details about it, but they can be very effective. That same relaxing effect that red light has for your mind and for your psyche can also relax inflammation. It can have a calming effect on hypermetabolic states, which like inflammatory states. So for people who are dealing with inflammatory issues, pain issues, autoimmune issues, these far infrared, near infrared saunas can be helpful.
Do you have a hard stop?
Yes, I do have a hard stop here in about a minute or two. Do we have any questions?
Okay. Well, we have a hand up, and then we also have a question coming in to us from, I think it's Facebook. Facebook, it's so Mickey says, I'm 58, 5'11", 169 pounds. I don't eat the bad foods. He does miss them. He has what's called Haglund's deformity and Achilles tendonitis, which I did look up that Haglund's deformity is a condition that causes a bony bump and pain on the back of your heel, often caused by wearing shoes with tight heel areas, and can lead to bursitis.
It's related to the Achilles tendon too. So they're both connected.
So that goes back to
the main reason for bone spurs, which is kind of like a bone spur, calcification, is toxicity in the blood. How does this relate to toxicity in the blood? Toxicity in the blood is manifested by low pH, acid. Toxicity leads to cell death. When cells die, they spew out acid. The body has a mechanism for dealing with acidity, and that is releasing calcium from the bones. And this is not only a cause of soft bones or osteoporosis, but it's also a cause of deposits, calcium deposits. And they can be incredibly painful, especially on the feet or on the heels, because you got to step on your heels. Every time you step, you can imagine the kind of pain that's associated with these things. They're miserable. You can't deal with it by themselves. You have to deal with the overall toxicity that the body's trying to address. Nobody just has bone spurs. Nobody just has tendonitis unless they have had an injury. Tendonitis and bone spurs are part of chronic degenerative deterioration of the body, specifically of the bones and the connective tissue. So you got to work on the toxicity element. Now, this person said, I think this is the person that said they're staying away from the bad foods. Is this the same person?
Correct, yes.
Okay. There's many foods that are not on the bad food list that can be problematic. You have to go by your symptoms. So this is a person, if they have calcification or calcium stones, or I'm sorry, calcification of the heels or stones. Stones are the same thing, by the way. Calcium stones are the same thing. These are all signs that the body is trying to neutralize acid by releasing calcium. These are all metabolic issues associated with the triangle of disease. So you got to work on the triangle of disease. There are nutrients that can have a beneficial effect on keeping calcium in the bones. The osteomag is one of them. Magnesium and calcium go together. Another nutrient that's important for keeping calcium in the bones is vitamin K. We don't have a lot of vitamin K. We don't have vitamin K in a lot of our products, but there are a few. Our Ultimate Multi has vitamin K in it. The Beyond Tang Tangerine has vitamin K in it. And vitamin K can also be made by gut bacteria. So making sure that you're addressing healthy microbiome using your nightly essence and all of your digestive support can also help with vitamin K.
And would that be K1 or K2?
Either one.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that. And let's go to Bill. Bill, go ahead and unmute yourself. You have a quick question?
Yes. So I'm on
Go.
day 19 of the liver cleanse.
Nice. How do you like it?
So we're showing a lot of blemishes on the skin going away. We'll talk about another time.
Nice.
So I was on the call last night with Raymond and Yolanda.
Okay.
So instead of the Fucoid, I will do the
Fucoid Z.
Yes, I will do Dr. Conaway's gut cleanse next.
Good.
Then
Yeah, Dr. Conaway's our go-to reference for all things digestion. I know I talk about digestion a lot, but Dr. Conaway knows 1,000 times more about it than I do.
And I would assume this will help blood pressure. It started out 2 weeks ago, 171. It was higher earlier. I started beet powder several days, and that's helping relax the blood vessels like you were just chatting about.
Nice, nice, nice. Good for you, Bill.
We're showing results.
Are you in Texas?
No, Central Oregon.
Oh, Central Oregon. Good deal. Hope I get to meet you one day.
You shall, multiple times. Thank you.
All right, guys. Becca? Where's Becca?
All right. Fantastic. So Pharmacist Ben, I'm having some electrical issues here. So I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
We have more questions that we did not get to.
We'll get to next week. Let's do all questions next week.
I know I'm having internet issues, electrical issues. Well, or on Pharmacist Ben Bites. So I want to invite everybody to pay attention to our different channels on Critical Health News and Daily with Doc. Make sure you're subscribed so that when we go live, you get notifications and you don't miss out on either a Daily with Doc or Pharmacist Ben Bites. So if I could have one of my co-hosts take over for me, please, and close out the meeting. Thank you so much, Pharmacist Ben, for an amazing episode of Daily with Pharmacist Phriday on Daily with Doc. My name is Becca Dukes, and let's go.
Okay, thank you for joining us today on Daily with Doc. And I'm sorry that Rebecca's having issues with her electrical. There is a fire in her area. It's 10 miles from her, but it's probably affecting everything. So I want to thank our co-hosts, and I'm going to go according to the screen like Rebecca does. So Phyllis Anderson, who's out there on the different platforms and answering questions and bringing questions to here. And also Phyllis was instrumental in getting Doc on the radio, her and her husband. So I always want to give her credit for that. So thank you so much for all you do. And then AJ, who is my assistant production manager, and he is also the social media manager, and he has gotten us out there on multiple platforms, and he has done a phenomenal job, and we're super grateful to him for that. So thank you for all you do, AJ. So glad we found each other. And then we have Albert, who is in South Africa, and he is letting people in the room, changing their names when it needs to be done, editing phone numbers, so we're keeping people's information private. I don't know what we would do without you either, Albert. So thank you. And then we have Marilyn, who is doing the dictation and typing her little fingers away. And she is a very good at looking up some things on the fly as well. So if you're not with us live on Zoom at DailywithDocZoom.com, then you're missing out on all of that. And if you have a question, Phyllis and Marilyn type in the protocols that Ben and Doc give out, and then you could take a picture of it and have it for later, so you don't have to try to get all your notes done. You can just listen. And of course, our beautiful hostess of the show, Becca Dukes, thank you for even making all of this possible for us. So we wouldn't, none of us would be here without you. And I remember when we first started Ask Doc Live, and was just on Friday for 2 hours, and here, look at where we've come to. So that's amazing. Are you holding up your hand? Do you have a question or want to say something, AJ? Go for it.
Just a comment, folks. If you need some help and you're not working with anyone, you can reach out to our phone team at 855-949-3377. Or if you just have a question, you can email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com.
Thank you very much. I was just about to say that, so I'm glad you did, in case I forgot, because sometimes I forget and sometimes Rebecca does. So anyway, thank you for joining us today. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and we will see you Monday with Dr. Carr Ringland and iridology and essential oils and maybe something else. So have a great weekend, folks. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.